Hi, I'm Matt, and welcome to my latest tech news video. I'll be covering recent tech news in this video. These news videos will generally cover gaming related tech, but also tech and hardware in general. I'm grateful for any feedback, so if you feel the need to do so, please leave a comment below. You can also like and subscribe if you enjoy my videos. I'll now get into some tech news from the past week or so. Just before I get into news, I did want to go over my plans for the next couple weeks. As I mentioned in my gaming news video, which should have went up yesterday, I'm quite busy the next couple weeks. Should still be able to get my videos out as usual, but they may be shorter, more concise. Hopefully, this will only affect my video uploads for the next couple weeks, after which I will hopefully be back to normal. Apologies if the content is less than length for the next couple weeks. And thank you for listening to my videos. Anyway, on to the tech news. The first bit of tech news for today is AMD related. I think this is the only major bit of AMD news today. I had covered the RX 7900 GRE previously and rumours of a 6750 GRE as well. Now it looks like the latter graphics card is going to be a thing. According to Gigabyte, specifically their China division, the 6750 GRE is actually a thing and is releasing relatively soon. Looks like this, as with the 7900 GRE, are going to be China only DOI GPUs. But like the 7900 GRE, we could see a global pre-built PC launch later, I'd imagine. Initial speculation thought that the 6750 GRE might be an OC'd overclocked RX 6700 10 gig, though now it would seem it is in fact a its own thing, a 12 gigabyte 6750 GRE like the 6750 XT. At this moment, the exact core config slash GPU die isn't confirmed, but we can expect to find this out fairly soon. As according to Gigabyte, the 6750 GRE will be launching on the 18th of October, and they are already accepting reservations for two models. In fact, the Eagle RX 6750 GRE and the Gaming RX 6750 GRE. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this new GRE GPU performs. As with the 7900 GRE, it could end up performing slightly slower than the 6750 XT, as the 7900 GRE does slot in below the 7900 XT, but above the 7800 XT, I believe. Guess we'll just have to wait and see. I'm thinking Hardware Unboxed might get their hands on one, as they did with the 7900 GRE via a PC retailer with a pre-built. But yeah, DIY wise, doesn't look like it's releasing that way outside of China at the moment. The next bit is actually AMD and Nvidia related, though. I had covered the new Lords of the Fallen game, the 2023 game, not the 2014 one, in a couple of videos recently, actually, and now we have some more news related to it, and just before it launches. I believe it should have launched yesterday, in relation to when this video is coming out. The game is going to have Nvidia DLSS 3 and AMD FSR at launch. This is quite good, I feel, especially as it's both competing manufacturers upscaling techs rather than one or the other. So this will allow users with RTX 40 series GPUs to use DLSS 3 frame gen, and AMD 7000 series users to use FSR 3 fluid motion frames. If you're not into those frame boosting options, I suspect you can turn off the frame generation portion of them and simply run the regular DSS or FSR. This is just speculation by me at this point. But hopefully you can just run DLSS 2 or FSR 2 if you don't want frame generation. I'd heard people mentioning for other games that you can run DLSS 3 and FSR 3 without the frame generation component, but whether this is possible in Lords of Fallen 2023, I'm not quite sure. I'm actually quite interested to see how this game performs. It is in Unreal Engine 5. Really hope that the game doesn't have performance issues when it launches, but given how badly some PC games this year have performed, I wouldn't be surprised if it does have some PC issues. I guess through the use of DLSS or FSR3, these issues, if they arise, will be reduced. But yeah, not everyone wants to rely on upscaling slash frame generation, and not everyone can either. But yeah, I'll probably cover how the game's being received, including any performance issues, in my next gaming news video next week, I would have thought. Now for a couple bits of more Nvidia news. First up, more rumours and speculation. The rumour is that Nvidia may be launching an RTX 4080 Ti in early 2024, and this GPU will apparently be priced similar to the current 4080, Thus, I'd expect the non-TI 4080s to get a price cut, although that isn't certain. This news comes from a WCCF Tech article, and the rumor comes via X-user Megasize GPU. They said in a tweet, quote, there will be a 4080S, maybe TI, in early 2024, based on AD102 TGP below 450 watt, same price range as 4080. So yeah, if these rumors come to fruition, this new 4080 may be a 4080 Super, but likely it will keep the TI branding in line with other Ada gaming GPUs. It's yeah, looks like it will also feature the AD102 GPU at its core, which is higher performing than the RTX 4080's current core die, the AD103. This could also actually mean that we may see an upgraded 320-bit memory interface, which might mean the new GPU may feature 20GB of GDDR6X VRAM, which would be a nice bump actually over the current 4080 16GB of VRAM. Performance-wise, I'd imagine this rumored GPU to fit in between the current 4080 and the 4090, which is pretty fairly obvious, certainly expected. But as for how much better than the base 4080 would be, I'm not sure. I would expect it to be at least 10% faster, but this is speculation. On my part, I'm not quite sure. When I checked, actually, on average, the 4090 was about 10 to 30% faster, depending on the resolution and whether ray tracing RT was enabled in the specific game. This is over the 4080. Seems at 4K, the 4090 is a fair bit faster, especially with RT. So will the 4080 Ti slash Super match the 4090 gaming? I don't know. I'm guessing not, but depending on what you play, it could come close at 1440p, but still a fair bit behind in 4K. Maybe similar to how the 3080 Ti performs relative to the 3090. As I think the 3080 Ti is around 5% slower than the 3090. However, the 3090 does have double VRAM, which, yeah, if you need that, is quite the benefit. Pricing wise, Megasize GPU says the 4080 Ti will have a similar price to the current 4080. If this is true, I still think it's a bit too expensive, but maybe the base 4080 will get a price cut, which would be nice. I guess we just have to wait and see a few months to find out, as an early 2024 release points to it being revealed at CS 2024 in January, I believe early January possibly. So yeah, that'll be interesting. And hopefully, never know, but hopefully the base model get like some sort of price cut. I think it's been coming down a little bit in price, but still quite an expensive GPU. But yeah, just have to wait to CES in January to find out if there is an actual 4080 Ti. The next bit of Nvidia related news is that another one of its board partners, Colorful, has launched an RTX 4060 and 4060 Ti models with hidden power connectors. I believe Asus is the only other board partner with such designs at the moment, but I could be wrong. When I looked, I think the only one was Asus, and I had covered them in the past. I will put up some images of the RTX 4060 by Colorful, the iGame Ultra Z model. As with some other hidden designs, the power connector is underneath the backplate as opposed to on the side of the graphics card. The backplate is also securely held in place by magnets, interestingly. According to Colorful, this allows for easy access to the connector. And the connector routes the 8-pin power connector towards the motherboard to reduce visibility, which is nice. Don't really enjoy seeing cables everywhere in my PC. Supposedly the connector as well, the placement will allow room for the cable to bend at an approximate 90-degree angle. So yeah, if you want it hidden, this might be the card to check out. I suspect Colorful have tested this layout excessively. I'd hope so anyway, to ensure it shouldn't have issues. But I guess you never know these days with PC hardware. All sorts of issues seem to creep up every now and then. But yeah, there'll be 4 models actually, which integrate this new hidden power connector design: the colourful iGame Ultra Z RTX 4060, 4060 Ti 8 and 16GB variants, and actually the 4070. I didn't realise, but the colourful 4070 with a hidden power connector was actually already a thing. Didn't notice that before reading this article. So yeah, that's cool. Definitely interested in hidden power cable design in my graphics card. Or maybe we do away with cables altogether someday, as Asus is actually working on releasing a cable-free graphics card, something I reported on in a previous tech news video. So yeah, I think I'd rather go cable-free at some point. It does can get my nerves a bit when I'm trying to route all the cables around the PC and things. I think I'd yeah, much prefer a feature that was cableless, as long as it all works fine, has no issues. But yeah, I don't think we're quite there yet. Next up, we have a few bits of Intel news. First, we have some early i9-14900K benchmark / FPS results. A slide comparing the upcoming 14900K to the 7950X 3D has leaked. The slide was leaked by X user HXL. Will add an image of the tweet. In the leaked slide, the 14900K and the 7900X 3D are pitted against one another in 1080p high preset gaming. On average, as reported by video cards, the 14900K is around 2% faster than the 7950X 3D at the 1080p high preset. However they determine the high preset, I'm not really sure. I believe it was determined for these slides by Intel themselves. Some notable games are Dota 2 and Fortnite, which are around 20% slower on the i9, the 4900K, and Cyberpunk, which is around 10% slower for the Intel CPU. While some winners for Intel are Metro Exodus and Starfield, which are around 20% faster on the 14900K, as well as Total War, Warhammer 3, which is also around 20% faster on the Intel CPU. A number of other games perform very similar actually on both, like Forza Horizon 5, Company Heroes 3, Mount and Blade 2, Bannerlord, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2022, with there being not much difference at all, to like 2 or 3% difference. But yeah, the list and relative performance layout by video cards is a decent length. Definitely check the linked article if you want the full breakdown on how they both compete. It looks like the 14th gen Intel Core CPUs are going to release actually sometime next week, with embargoes potentially sometime next week, with embargoes lifting potentially as early as Monday. So yeah, it could be an interesting Intel news week next week. We'll just have to wait and see, I guess. Now for some yeah, more Intel 14th gen news. The second bit, it looks as though Intel accidentally leaked its entire 14th gen core desktop lineup a week before reveal. Intel's 14th gen core desktop chips are currently Raptor Lake refresh. I will add the leaked image around here. Listed are a number of upcoming 14th gen CPUs. These include, but not limited to the i3-14100 base model and F, the i5-14400 normal and F, the i5-14500, the i5-14600 K as well as KF, i7-14700 non-K, K and KF, and the i9-14900, the K, the KF, and so on, and among others. There are also a number of T SKU processors, like the i3-14100T, i5-14500T, i7-14700T, and i9-14900T. I believe these are low power OEM / sort of retail pre-built only CPUs, so not DIY, I don't think. You could probably pick one up, but it's probably better to stick with a non-T SKU for gaming and production, like a 14700 non-K or K or KF. But yeah, actually, just before I move on, it looks like these CPUs will launch next week. And according to a UK retailer, Overclockers UK, one of the bigger UK retailers, the 4900K is going to cost around £580. I believe the listings were hidden, or should have been hidden by now, I think. But yeah, that price doesn't surprise me if it's true. Just thought I'd add it in here. I guess we don't have too long to wait to see what the actual MSRP is. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was 580 to 600, around about that sort of mark. But yeah, the final bit of Intel news for today is again related to its Intel Arc GPU drivers. I covered more Intel Arc driver performance boost in the last tech news video, I believe. And the latest Arc driver has revealed another big performance / sort of FPS boost, this time in Starfield. Starfield at launch was effectively unplayable on Intel Arc GPUs, but this has since been fixed by new updated drivers. According to Intel themselves, the newest drivers 31.0.1.01.4887. I will put an image up around here, but the main highlights of the driver are as follows. Added support for Intel Arc A5A graphics, Intel Game On driver support for Arc A series graphics for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 beta, Total War Pharaoh, and Lords of the Fallen. Game improvements for Starfield DX12 with up to 117% performance uplift at 1080p ultra settings, and an up to 149% performance uplift at 1440p high settings. Forza Motorsport performance improvement of up to 8% at 1080p ultra settings. And finally, performance improvements for F123 DirectX 12 of up to 12% at 1440p ultra high settings, and up to 136% at 2140p, so 4K ultra high settings. So yeah, some rather large performance improvements there, especially for Starfield, which is good to see, and especially after how poorly ARC GPUs performed in that game at launch. So if you got an ARC GPU, it looks like yeah, Intel keeps pumping out these pretty decent drivers with decent performance improvements, so that's good. That's the Intel stuff sort of covered up. Moving some finishing off news pieces. Next up, some Samsung memory news. Samsung is preparing its next gen HBM4, so high bandwidth memory, for release in 2025. It looks like HBM4 memory will have a 2048-bit memory interface, which is double the amount of current HBM3. That has a 1024-bit memory interface. Looks like this new memory will be used to boost HPC or high performance computing and AI workloads in the future. I very much doubt we'll see any more gaming GPUs make use of HBM. I think a few AMDs, I think R9 Fury X and one other AMD GPU previously actually did make use of HBM. But yeah, I don't think we'll see that again, at least not anytime soon, but I could be wrong. But yeah, still interesting to me from a tech standpoint. I suppose it'd be cool if we saw like a Titan class gaming GPU with HBM memory, but probably won't. Even if we did, it would likely be excessively expensive. But yeah, I think next gen game GPUs will likely just utilize GDDR7 as the performance this will give. Will probably be adequate. I would hope be adequate enough. There will likely be no reason for a HBM gaming GPU, as far as I can tell. But yeah, 2025, as I mentioned, is the planned launch of HBM4. So you could probably expect data center / enterprise grade GPUs to make use of it, specifically from AMD, and I expect or Nvidia, and I expect AMD too. And I guess Intel, if they decide to pump out a more data center targeted GPU in the future. But now for some Windows 12 news. It seems as though an Intel executive may have hinted at when we might be seeing a launch for Windows 12. Before I get into what was said, it does seem that more leaks have been coming out regarding Windows 12 for the past few months. So yeah, this is speculation is certainly not shocking at this point. But yeah, anyway, to the statement, Intel's chief financial officer, David Zinsser, was interviewed by Seeking Alpha at the City 2023 Global Technology Conference. In this interview, Zinsser said that, quote, "We actually think 24 is going to be a pretty good year for client in particular. In particular because of the Windows refresh. And we still think that the installed base is pretty old and does require a refresh. And we think next year we may be the start of that, given the Windows catalyst. So we're optimistic about how things will play out beginning in 24. If that reference, a refresh he is referring to is Windows 12 and not a big Windows 11 update. It looks like the next iteration of Windows could be coming sometime next year. I wasn't expecting a launch of 12 next year. Certainly revealed though, I could have seen. I was thinking more 2025 for a new Windows launch, but it would seem with the leaks the past few months, we may in fact be getting Windows 12 next year. Another recent report went over how the next Windows might be subscription based. However, this has now been debunked apparently. I would be surprised if Microsoft ended up requiring users to pay a subscription fee for Windows. I guess it isn't unthinkable, but yeah, I'd be surprised if they do make that decision. Just to add before I finish up this section, I covered the recent Steam hardware and software survey for September, and Windows 10 was still in the lead when it came to operating systems. I wonder how the numbers will look if Windows 10, 11, and 12 are all represented in the survey. Could be a bit interesting, but yeah, it seems Windows 11 isn't gaining much traction anymore, although that might change in a couple of years when Windows 10 loses long-term support. And also it could just be very varied, the It's quite at random, the Steam survey, from what I understand. But yeah, I can see Windows 12 having quite a slow growth amongst gamers, especially as it will be competing with Windows 10 for a few years, and also 11, which I hope Microsoft will support for a while. Yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see on that front. And finally, to finish today's video, there was actually an intriguing article on TechSpot. The article covers a recent survey of the most popular CEOs. This is somewhat interesting to me, I guess, but I can understand if you don't really care. But yeah, I'll just go over this in short, but check the linked TechSpot article if you're interested in the full rundown. And these metrics were gathered by surveying around 13,000 verified US professionals. I'll start with the most popular tech CEOs. There are others, but as I cover tech here, I'll just cover the tech CEOs. Interestingly, Jensen Huang of Nvidia is in the #1 spot with a 96% approval rating. Tim Cook of Apple is in 4th place overall with an 83% approval rating, and Lisa Su is in 8th place with an approval rating of 79%. I thought it should be a fair bit higher, to be honest. As for the bottom 10 CEOs, the only one I know of is John Ristatello of Unity, as I've covered him a few times actually recently due to the whole Unity debacle. He's actually the third worst CEO. There are only 2 people with lower approval ratings than him. His approval rating stands at 2%. Jesus. Can't say I'm surprised, but yeah, that is bad. No wonder he recently resigned, as I covered in my most recent gaming news video. So yeah, that's basically all the news covered today, tech news wise. Before I wrap this video up, I have some videos to cover in today's spotlight section. After recently covering the Raspberry Pi 5, I did some research and watched a number of impressions / sort of reviews for the device, and I've ended up actually pre-ordering the 8 GB model. Looks like the batch I pre-ordered mine from won't be shipping until sometime in November or early December, so I'm trying not to think about it too much, as I still have quite a wait before I can check it out. In the meantime, ETA Prime, a tech channel I've been watching for a few months now, has been testing the Raspberry Pi 5 in a number of ways, including in emulation. So yeah, the 3 most recent of his Raspberry Pi 5 emulation videos will be linked in the description in case you're interested in seeing how it performs. Definitely check them out if you're interested in tiny single board PCs or emulation, etc. They're interesting to watch, certainly if you're interested in emulation as I am. But yeah, go check ETA Prime's video out. They will be linked in the description. Anyway, that's all the tech news coverage from me today. If you're interested, you can also check out my gaming news, which was published yesterday. And yeah, as I said, next couple weeks I'm a bit busy, sort of IRL, and yeah, so you might see some shorter videos. I should still be able to get a couple of videos out a week as I do, but yeah, they might just be a bit more concise, as I said. And yeah, see how I'm getting on videos wise in a couple of weeks. Anyway, as always, feedback is appreciated, so go ahead and like or dislike and leave a comment. If you enjoyed my videos and commentary, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back again soon.